Los Cabos Drumsticks present
Quarter notes.
Can you hear that in the background?
No,
It just stopped, but
anything.
no? Okay, because I have a water pump right behind me. And because of everything melting, it just keeps clicking on.
Oh yeah.
Right,
Your
because I'm
sump
in
pump.
my sub pump. Yeah, because I'm in the fucking basement. All right. Anyway. Hey. How's it going, Rich?
Hey man. Hey, it's going good. How are you doing?
So pretty good. Can't complain.
All right. All right. Good.
All right.
That's
So
good.
yeah. How you been? What's up?
Well, been all right, man. We're kind of chatting offline. Felt a little under the weather the past 2 days, so that's
Yeah.
wasn't fun. But aside from that, doing pretty good. Doing
Hmm.
pretty good. Got a tour coming up. Beginning of May, headed to Norway and Spain with Danko and the boys. And yeah, the summer's looking good too. I don't know. Everything is pretty good,
Yeah.
all
Because I
things
know
considered.
the last episode you couldn't tell us that you had a new song coming out. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
that's
guessing that
right.
was the news you couldn't share.
That's right, man. Yeah, we do. We have it's called Guess Who's Back, and it's available on all your streaming services. It's a fun one. It's a fun little tune.
It is a fun little tune. I
Yeah.
listened to it like 3 times in a row when it can't because it's a short song, as all good
Yeah.
songs are. So so you can afford to put it on repeat. But yeah, if that's a sign of what the new album's gonna be, it's gonna be another ripper.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a good one.
Mhm.
I'd say it's pretty fairly accurate to what the rest of the record's going to be like too.
Yeah,
So
a lot of
go check it out, folks. Danko Jones, Guess Who's Back?
not
Uh,
too many
uh,
ballads on the next album.
not too many ballads, no.
Usually
No
usually not
ballads,
too
all
many.
bangers.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Bangers.
all
Yeah.
good. And that's and how about you, man? Tell me what is going on with you?
Well, getting the other podcast going again since we've kind of established what we're doing here. I kind of
Yeah.
I wasn't ignoring the other one, but I just wanted to make sure I had all my, apples in the same basket to get this moving. And now that we kind of have a bit of a flow and a bit of a schedule on this, I can kind of give the other one some love too. So, um,
Nice.
as of doing this, there'll have already been an episode released. So I guess I'm already back. Yeah,
Nice.
this is weird. This is like some like time travel Terminator stuff when we do this,
Yeah.
you know. So it's hard to keep
It's
dates and
it's
because at this point you're
speaking of
probably
which,
already on tour.
yeah, by the time this comes out, we will be on tour. And
Yeah,
if I could just circle back to that Terminator comment.
yeah.
Are you at all concerned that they have they're putting police dog robots out into the streets of New York, and then we have such things as Chat GPT, GPT. I think we're on a slippery slope here. Not to come off as a luddite, but I'm whew,
Not a lot.
everybody just I don't know.
Slow it down.
Let's take her cool. Let's
Yeah,
take her
take your
cool.
time. Yeah, actually, I didn't even hear about that New York thing with the dogs.
Unless it's some bogus thing being fed to my Instagram, but I've been seeing like on different credible news source. I don't know if they're credible. They
Is
might be
any news
on
source credible
in they might
nowadays?
incredible news sources.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'll have to check that out. But yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of automation is, you know, and funny. Um, this is I don't know if you know this, but this is the Los Cabos Drumsticks presents Quarter Notes podcast. Um, episode 9, if we can circle all the way back. Um, but interesting enough, the topic of, artificial intelligence and all that kind of ties into a bit of the theme of the episode for this week that we decided to chat about. I don't know if this is because this is completely off the cuff, but it's kind of related in a way.
Somewhat, somewhat
Somewhat.
related.
Yeah. Um,
The topic for this week is electronic drum kits,
mhm.
and neither disclaimer, neither Dre nor I are experts in this field, but
Nope.
we're we're curious. We're curious.
Love them or hate them, they exist and they're around.
I
Um,
just checked, by the way. There's definitely crime-fighting robot dogs joining the NYPD. This is like RoboCop stuff, man. It's not, it's Terminator. And
wow.
not to be a downer, but with artificial intelligence and electronic drums, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, we're
Already,
on borrowed time.
we're on borrowed time. We already were. Now, I don't know. Anyway,
Mhm.
I think, you know, we just gotta get back to being human. But anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
before we do, let's talk about playing on electronic, real human beings playing on electronic drum sets.
Hmm.
So electronic drum sets uh, are electronic in the way that they have triggers, and when you hit them, they trigger a sound, uh, like a MIDI sound. I would guess, and some kind of MIDI trigger
Hmm.
to a sound, and they've come a long way since they began, and
Speaking
they're
of,
some. Speaking of,
I have a trivia question for you.
oh yes, let's hear it.
So, what was the first electronic drum kit and when did it come out?
The first electronic drum kit.
What company came out with it and when did they do it?
So cool. Well, I want to say Roland, but probably wrong. Would it be
Nope.
Yamaha?
No, believe it
Am
or
I
not.
close? Would it
If
be okay, don't tell me, but like
okay.
steer me. Steer me.
It does have
This is
two L's
fascinating
in the
for me.
name. Um,
Uh
yeah, I
two
have no way
L's.
to to like steer you.
Lululemon. That's three L's.
That's
That's three. Shoot.
Lululemon. No.
I don't know.
Okay.
Tell me.
Pollard syndrome in 1976. It was yeah, just simple, just drum pads.
Hmm.
And then had like an electronic drum generator. I guess it would be known as the brain now. Um,
Mm.
yeah, but 1976, Pollard Syndrome came out with the first electronic drum kit.
Okay, well that's cool. So they've been around since 76.
76 is the first. That's what they say when you Google
Okay.
the first electronic drum kit. That's what came up. And then there's not like I'm trying to like search for the actual company, and I'm not getting anything. But again, I'm not
Mm.
you know putting on well, I have my glasses on, but I mean I'm not putting on my thinking cap to do that.
Hmm.
Anyway, that was just a little
Right.
fun cutaway
Hey,
for
that
that.
is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Okay.
as you were saying,
Well, it's
triggers.
just, yeah, it's, and some people, you would use them, could use them as your your set, electronic drum set for the whole show. Uh, Also an option a lot of people do is just have a couple of pads, maybe you're triggering if it's a drum sound, or even just, you could be even triggering whole like parts or
Yeah,
hits
yeah.
or anything, because you're just triggering this MIDI sound or this electronic trigger. So
Like backing
pretty cool.
tracks or
Could be
kind of.
backing
Yeah.
tracks.
Hmm.
Totally.
Yeah, even visuals.
So
You can control lights and visuals
even
with them too.
even visuals, yeah.
Yeah.
The Ableton Live and stuff like that, hooking them up through stuff like that.
Hmm.
I would imagine
It's
pretty
crazy.
pretty advanced stuff. I have played these in a gig before. I've done one show on electronic drums in my life. It might have been my first professional gig ever.
We're going
And
back.
it was, yeah. Uh, so this is probably, oof, I don't know. We're in the 90s. We're in the 90s, late 90s. And I was on the back of a flatbed truck in the Gold Cup and Saucer Parade,
Mhm.
playing. Are you looking it up to see if you can find it?
No,
For
I'm
it
adjusting the
was
light on my monitor.
okay.
Okay.
Before Long McQuaid was on Prince Edward Island, there was a music store, the kind of the big music stores. There were a couple national music and but the kind of one of the biggest one, I guess, was Sober's Music. It was called Sober's Music. So this was a
Okay.
float for Sober's Music. There was one in Charlottetown, one in Summerside. And anyway, we played in the parade. There was a keyboard, a bass. At least I think there was a bass. If there wasn't a bass, the keyboard player was playing bass, a guitar player, and myself. And we played, I think we played two songs throughout the whole parade. We played Mustang Sally and Jump by
Nice.
Van Halen. Yeah. And, probably did a very bad job of both of those tunes, but we were there, and it wasn't the last parade that I was ever going to play in or cavalcade. I think I played in a cavalcade for the Lions Club once, but I think that was on a real drum set. Anyway, played for whatever, however many hours that was on this electronic drum set. This was early days, I guess, for electronic drum sets. Still, they've come a long, long way since
Mm,
then. So they all would have been
yeah.
like just the black pads, rubber, not no mesh, no like real drum look. Um, but yeah, so
So
I
you
go
played
back.
the
I go back
same
with these.
two songs over and over and over again for the
Yeah,
duration of the parade.
that's right. But the
Man,
cool thing about a parade is you got a new audience every
every like
30
so many
seconds.
meters. Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
by the end of the parade, you guys must have had those songs like tight.
Yeah, it was pretty tight by the end, I'd say. So
Yeah.
yeah, like that would have been the youngest guy there. It was very intimidating first
Also, you
gig,
had
but
like,
I think by
so
the
you
end,
were in, yeah, late 90s. So yeah, you'd have been just a
yeah, I was
kid,
like in my teens,
yeah, in your
in
teens,
my
and you're
early
playing
teen,
with like
mid
grown
teens,
adults.
early teen. Yeah, I think the guitar player was like a grown adult, and
Hmm.
the keyboard player I think was a couple years older than me. Um, but yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
That's good
Anyway,
experience. I
it
mean,
was good experience, and I kept at it, and here we are
were there like
today doing this
bales of
podcast
hay
together.
on the back of the truck with
Yeah,
you
I think there
and
were probably a couple of bales of hay to sit on, and so I mean,
some
I
bags of
was at the back,
potatoes?
pretty sketchy, pretty sketchy, like safety, like not much safety going on. Definitely could have fallen off the back if we'd taken off quickly, but we all live to tell the tale.
Yeah. So was
So
it like Canada Day parade or just
no, uh,
random?
not random either. It's there's like many Canadian towns, every summer there's some kind of fair that comes to
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
local fair. And this one is Gold Cup and Saucer Week or Old Home Week. Old Home Week it's called. And
Okay.
there's this horse race, a harness racing horse race every year. Kind of culminates for this thing on the Saturday night, and it's the Gold Cup and Saucer race. So they also have a Gold Cup and Saucer parade. So
Gotcha.
this is like, the big parade.
This is like,
And
yeah.
yeah. So you want to be in that parade if you're a parade enthusiast. And
So
so
were
I
you
and
guys like
so I got in
the
there.
caboose of the parade, like bringing it at home at the end of the night kind of thing? Or
No, we would have just been like one of probably there were probably weren't that many other musical acts in the parade aside from like marching bands. But
yeah.
we were just like, we were representing the Sobers music float.
Okay.
So we
Cool.
were like, here's Sobers music. We sell these
You can buy the,
kick-ass
yeah.
electronic drum sets. Look, even this donkey can play it, and that kind of thing. So
Was there a donkey?
No, I was the donkey.
I,
So
I caught that. Yeah.
yeah. So there you go. I think I've played with some like pads since then. I think if I've know some of the Dwayne Gretzky stuff, we would use a SPDX pad, uh,
Mhm.
Michael Brushy's pad, um, to like just for some of the songs that were needed. But so I haven't done a lot of gigging, I'll be honest, with an electronic kit. Mostly, yeah, mostly not. I kind of, for better or for worse, probably look down my nose on the electronic kits. I just liked the feel of the real kits. I never found that they captured what it was like to play a real drum set. And I mean, especially when I started getting to jazz music and stuff, then there was like, I
Mhm.
mean, even before that, but like especially then, it's like, no, this is about acoustic instruments,
Mhm.
and there's just so much subtlety that you lose. Now I
Yeah.
know
Mhm.
that electronic kits have come a long, long way, but all the really nice ones
Yeah.
uh, have signs that say "Don't play me" on the music store. So I haven't actually played one, but so
They're
it's just
too
like I'm just
expensive.
yeah. But I know that like they probably are pretty amazing, and so I would hate for anyone that owns one to be like, no, these rule.
Yeah.
Um, but so far in my experience, I just it never made sense. But that being said, I think like I kind of feel an inkling to like try something like kind of like live EDM-ish kind of thing, like some kind of like fun project or something. And in that case, I think it would be totally fun and cool to play
Yeah, definitely.
electronic kit because it was just like, it's electronic music.
Yeah.
Or use it just as like we said, like here's a sample that's going to go along.
Hmm.
I'm going to play this with
It
as my snare
cues an
or instead of my
intro,
snare.
which then
Or
builds
yeah,
up into
yeah,
a song. Or yeah.
yeah.
See, electronic kits for me, man. I just okay. I don't want to like. I don't want to like poo-poo the electronic drum kit because there's definitely like purpose for it. Obviously, there's a market for it, especially for people that are learning or giving lessons. 'Cause it's a lot easier to
Mm.
have that set up. It's in the corner. It takes like no space at all. You can
And
control
it's
the
quiet.
volume. It's quiet. So there's
You can
definitely
play it in your
some real
house with
purpose.
kids
Yeah,
around or babies asleep.
exactly.
Yeah,
Pop the headphones on. You're good to go.
totally.
But as soon as I walk into a club and I see there's a band playing, and I look over and I see there's an electronic drum kit set up, I'm probably not going to stick around. I
Mm.
just can't for a live situation. I just can't see. I mean, again, electronic drums have come a long way. There's some really nice looking ones that look like a drum kit. So maybe it's just the aesthetic of it all. But to me, like if I walk into somewhere and somebody's got like the old, black pads and the cymbals are just these plastic things that don't even look like cymbals, like literally don't look like a cymbal. It's like it's almost like you're playing Rock Band, on the
Mm.
Xbox or
Hmm.
PlayStation or whatever.
Yeah,
Like I just
yeah,
can't, visually I just don't see it. Um and
yeah.
I this is a little sidetrack, but I'm a fan of the show Supernatural. And
Okay.
the theme song, one of the main thematic songs that plays in the season finale for every season is Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas. So they had this big supernatural convention because it was on for 15 seasons, and so they had this big convention and they surprised everyone by bringing Kansas, and they were performing live Carry On My Wayward Son. Like they had the curtain, nobody knew they were there. It dropped, place went nuts, and the dude's playing legit like drum pads. I'm like,
Mm.
really? This is Kansas, and he's playing like a rock band drum kit. Like it's anyway. I just
Mm.
I just can't do it.
Let you down.
It,
Let
it
you
was a
down.
yeah. I mean, I wasn't there. I mean, I watched it on special
Okay.
features or YouTube or whatever it was, but it's just visually, it just I can't.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Um,
I understand from like in some situations for like a sound perspective, if the electronic kit is really banging, like we said,
mhm.
I understand. I also could see like totally. I think it's context. I think like if you're, for me, I I'm a bit the same. I have a bit the same view as you. I think if it's like a music that really calls for, I think like real drums, acoustic
Hmm.
drums, and you're playing basically what you would play, in the same way. Like, we're playing, let's say Mustang Sally or Jump, something like that, for
Full
example,
circle.
um, full circle, and playing on the electronic kit, I would probably feel like I was missing something, from
Hmm.
not having like the real drums.
Yeah.
However, if the music, like, if I walked into a club and it was like I knew what, like, oh, is this like there was an artistic statement about to be made with this different kit or something? You know what I mean? Like if it fit the if it was planned, but as trying to like it's like yeah, for me too, it's kind of a similar thing. I
Hmm.
I don't know if there's like an equivalent um to that on any other instrument. Like it's like
I don't think
kind of
so,
like a like an
because
electronic version of any other instrument. Like
I kind of want to take a sidetrack with for our drummer pick, but at the same time, this is like right into what you're saying. It's kind of a topic I want to dive a little deeper into, is because, like you say, like other instruments, we don't look at it like that. Like, for example, like guitars. Like, it's one thing like you can record with an amp, you got it mic'd, and it's that amp, it's that sound. But then you've got all those mods that you can literally plug your guitar into, and it'll simulate exactly that amp at exactly those settings, because that's all
mm,
electronic anyway, right? So you've got all, I don't know, can't remember what they're
just
called, but
yeah,
it
yeah, I know what
basically
you're saying.
guitar
Like just
emulators.
just takes the signal,
Yeah,
the clean signal, and or whatever's coming from your guitar and puts it in
yeah.
that.
So you can record with
Yeah.
that, like, not to, you know, go behind the scenes too much, but Six Gun Smoke album, that's what they did. Like, Jack has a Fender Deluxe, and that's his sound with his Gretsch guitar, uh, you know, with the
Mhm.
overdrive and all that other stuff, the tube amps and stuff. But they, had the emulator for exactly that and dialed it into exactly that sound, and that's fine because, like, you're in the studio, you're in the control room, you just, um, but I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
old.
I know going down that path with you though, I know we're gonna eventually get to our drummer picks, but playing devil's advocate in a studio, it wouldn't be it would not be uncommon. In other words, it would be common to uh, at least in the rock world, to replace, and definitely in the pop world, like samples. So
Hmm.
like even the drummer plays the thing,
Yeah.
but you either replace or augment with samples,
Yeah.
which maybe have been recorded by the drummer, or may be totally like a
Yeah.
purchased
With the engineer
thing. Yeah.
after the fact. Yeah.
So I guess, I don't know.
But I mean, if
I
the
know I just
drummer,
want to, you know,
yeah, if the
be
drummer's playing
fair. I
an
want to be
acoustic
fair.
kit and is laying down the track, and he's got the feel because he's playing on an acoustic drum kit, and like it's augmented with whatever. I mean, that's whatever. I'm okay with that to a certain degree. I mean, I want to hear the drums, I want to hear the room, but I mean, I listen to shit on vinyl. I'm an old man. I'm not up hip with the current times of recording technology.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I shouldn't say yeah,
yeah.
like I agree with you, but I'll just say that like I was just like saying yes to my own inner monologue as you were talking there. That yeah, again, I just would go back to I think it's context. It's
Yeah.
if it suits the music, whatever you're
100%.
gonna play,
100%.
should play on a bongo. If all the song calls for is a bongo,
Hmm.
why couldn't it call for an electronic kit? You know what I mean, or
Yeah.
tambourine or claps or whatever. So first
Claps.
pick.
First pick. All right.
I
Who's,
mean,
you want me to go?
claps are a great sound to put into your
Yeah.
drum pad,
And that's
by
that's
the
a
way.
whole, I mean, then we can get into the meaty sample
Yeah.
of the clap sound versus what all the cymbal companies are doing now with the clap stacks to emulate the
Yeah.
clapping sound. It's like
Yes.
you can buy that little pad, program the sound to have the actual hand clap that you've recorded versus spending upwards of 800 or 900 bucks for like three different cymbals that you've taken your car and driven on top of to make a stack with. you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
but whatever.
we'll give the shout out though.
Okay, so
Trevor
drummers.
Trevor Lawrence Jr. Trevor Lawrence Jr. Came up with that thing, the
Oh, the
clap
clap,
stack.
clap stack.
The clap stack. Yeah.
Cool, 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 cool.
Anyway, we'll get to maybe we'll chat about them in another episode.
Perhaps. All right. So for the first time ever, um, we did not pick any of the same drummers. So neither of us had to pivot. So now what's the category for the drummer again?
Well, this is the category in sync, in harmony with our theme of the week, electron drum kits. We decided to choose drummers who play or employ all or some electronic drums into their setup.
Mhm.
And so this is, get into yours, but I'll just say probably a lot of drummers do this, probably like a crazy amount of drummers do this, but I did still find it hard to go around and like pick a few
Yeah.
because it was like, I don't know, maybe I'm not a very good researcher, but anyway, I did pick a
No,
couple.
but with
Yeah.
these drummers, particularly, some of the ones that we picked, um, you're not just playing the drums for the band for these guys. Like they're controlling so much more behind the kit by using these samples or these pads in the way that
Oh
they play
yeah.
them, right? Um, I'll go with my
Oh.
first pick, um, Jojo Mayer, um,
Mm,
from the band Nerve, also
mm.
clinician, uh, philosophical guru, however you want to. Have you ever seen his TED talk? It's
No, I haven't.
pretty mind
I
blowing.
have his DVD. I have maybe two of his DVDs.
Yeah, his course stuff is just insane. But he had a TED
Mm,
talk called Between the Ones and Zeros, so he's talking about the relationship of electronics and drumming and stuff. It's really fascinating. But he uses an acoustic kit, um, and he's got a few trigger pads. He uses a Roland TDM or TM2, like a brain, and he combines that with his different pads, so he's got different sounds. So as he's playing his acoustic kit, he can trigger a sample of a piece of music that goes along with the piece, or just different sounds. He also can change the tone or the type of snare drum that he's playing. So he's got his snare set up, but he's got a trigger, so he can make it into like a fat sound kind of a snare, or crank it up to have more of an electronic EDM kind of a thing. Um, so he definitely pushes, you know, the line between acoustic and electronic kit and kind of blends them together. And that's
mm.
to do with the style of music. Because
Yeah.
if you haven't listened to Nerve, it's pretty trippy stuff. And I recommend anyone to check it out just for his drumming alone. I mean, Jojo Mayer is probably, I mean, he's in the discussion of, best of all time as far as just the whole instrument, top to
Yeah,
bottom,
pretty
soup to nuts.
pretty prodigious.
Yeah. So that's my pick
Yeah.
for number one, or first
All
pick.
right. Okay, well, my first pick
Okay.
is based off of performance. Now, I'm sure that he would have used these in different settings, but this is specific, a Pacific. I always thought those words were just a
Pacific.
little pretty.
Was
Yeah,
that, did
Pacifically
you,
speaking, Pacifically speaking, be more Pacific.
I think you need to go to the library a little bit more.
Yeah, go for library.
Library. Yeah.
Pacifically speaking, this is a very Pacific performance from SNL. I think I brought this up in the past, possibly in another episode, for a D'Angelo performance on Saturday Night Live.
No, this must have
John
been a different
Blackwell.
podcast.
No, maybe it was like it was I guess this would have been on my list and it didn't make the cut for that particular,
Must have been.
for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was probably one with Randy,
Oh, likely. Yeah. Yeah. We had some cool picks for that
because we were talking
episode.
about groovers.
Yeah.
So John Blackwell,
Mm,
rest in peace, amazing drummer,
yeah.
so groovy. And on the D'Angelo performance, Saturday Night Live, the song called "Real Love." That whole, if you look up "Real Love" and the charade, those those two performances are so good, man. Wow. Like everything, I was like just going down the comments reading, and like I just had to agree, like someone just summed it up. Like they nailed everything. Like the musicians, the songs, the performances, the wardrobe, the mix, everything is like just like the whole other level. Like what a band, what a performance. Anyway,
Hmm.
John Blackwell plays on the song Real Love. Is the whole time is going for the 2 and 4 where the snare would be. It's
Hmm.
like a little like the beautiful little snap sound, or I don't know, some kind of like reverbed out slightly little beautiful sound that was better than what it wouldn't have been the same with the snare drum. So
Okay.
that was a beautiful
Hmm.
uh, choice. Um, whether it was D'Angelo's choice or his choice, whoever's choice, it was
Hmm.
the right thing to do. And yeah, so good, so good. So that was like I thought like what a great way to use some electronics
Hmm.
in the performance. And of course, it has to be said as well. Your mixing engineer has to be Uh, that's a big factor in it. And I know, just to kind of piggyback on this, that's a big thing for also your own personal mix, whether it's coming from your own monitor or you have in-ears.
Hmm.
Um, I can see that just like, even being just, yeah, one of those things where you really, again, how much like the sensitivity,
Hmm.
that if your pad picks up the velocity, or how sensitive that is to different velocities,
Yeah.
as in how hard you hit it and stuff, like to um I mean, yeah, it's just a few extra little things you would have to worry about, but also I would be concerned of like having the whole thing fit into my ear sounding really good. But you know what, probably if it's what you did and it was in your setup, you'd probably just dial it in over time, or like you would figure it out. It's probably way
Yeah.
less complicated than I imagine. But I was just thinking
Um,
that aloud to myself right now.
yeah. Well, that goes in, like, we can just carry on with that thought. That's one of the things about electronic drum kits, at least in my experience from the ones that I've played, and I've only played a few. When you go into Long and McQuaid or whatever, and like you said, the high end ones are like, don't touch them. So you're playing, the Roland, entry level, mid level kits that have like the mesh heads and the stuff, but they're not super sensitive you know, to your playing, and the cymbals are again just rubber pads. And there's a thing that I want to get into later about cymbals, and but just the finesse of playing, because the drums are all about feel. I mean, you can just hash out quarter notes and make it sound real tight, but when you're playing it and you've got the ghost notes, and you're playing the accents on the dotted notes and all that stuff, like it can be lost in translation on the electronic drum kit versus the actual acoustic instrument, like where you're playing with the drum head and the rim shot. So there's all those different surfaces, and like I said,
Mhm.
the kits now have a lot of that programmed into them, like for the different pressure points and the
Yeah,
velocity of the hit, and even the rubber rims on the drums now. Like you can, if it's hit a certain way, it creates the rim shot. So that's all come a long way, but it still doesn't feel the same. Like when you're hitting that
yeah,
that rim shot, it's a mesh skin and it's a rubber pad versus your drum head and a metal hoop. You know, it's just a
yeah,
you know it's just a different
yeah,
feel.
yeah. I'm sure these are the questions that the developers of these instruments are as
Yeah,
wrestling with all the time,
yeah.
is how to emulate um these feels. Yeah, I
Hmm.
agree. Again, I bet you they do come much closer now on the highest end ones, but I agree for the ones that uh, you know, guys like us heading into the music store and
Hmm.
just ripping on. Yeah, it's not
Whatever
it's not
demo
quite the
kit.
same. You're right. There's a lot of rim shots alone. There's a lot of
Hmm.
different sounds you can make, like a full meaty rim shot, kind of a
Hmm.
the inch, like 3 or 4 inches of your stick kind of rim shot,
Hmm.
uh, just hitting the dang rim, hitting rim knock, all these different
Hmm.
things.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah.
but
missing the drum altogether.
yeah, that's usually my technique.
How do
Yeah.
they deal with that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But again, with the feel, like the hi-hat, just the hi-hat alone, like a lot of the kits, like the pedal doesn't even have a stand attached to it. Like it's just a pedal. There's no hi-hat stand. There's no, and the hi-hat is just a pad, so you're not getting that open and close. Like, you're
yeah,
making the sound when
yeah.
you're hitting the pedal, but it doesn't have that feel. So when you're hitting an open hi-hat and then closing it, it doesn't have that same reaction to when you're playing it. And I guess like, there's a YouTuber, a drum lesson guy, Steven Taylor, Steven's Drum Shed. He's got some videos. He did a video recently about electronic kits, and that's sort of the benchmark to what to look for in a kit is the whole hi-hat situation. Like how is that company or how is that kit dealing with the hi-hat? Because that's where,
Mm.
I mean, what 70 or more percent of your time is on the hi-hat. So that's where you're getting a
Yeah.
lot of your play, right? So that's my hang up with just the whole
Mm.
feel of it. And I'm sure it's something if I played around with it, I'd get used to, you know, the adjustment or whatever of playing it. But for me, it's a practice kit type of a thing. For me, like electronic kits have always been, for a practice room or laying down a demo because you can, like you say, it's all digital, it's all there, it's recorded, boom, you can send it off just to kind of, work out ideas and then, bring it into the jam room and then hash it out with the guys on a real kit to know how it's going to feel and sound when you record it
Mhm.
and then record it with acoustic drums. But that would be my approach to how to use it. I mean, I don't have an electronic kit. I would like to get one just for those reasons alone. Um,
Yeah.
you
I
you
just
just
got
got
one.
it. Yeah, you just got a
I
kit,
just
didn't you?
got one. Yeah. I just got one just the other day. Haven't got it all rigged up, ready to go yet, but
Okay, so
I played on it a bit. I just bought it used. I played it at the gentleman's house where I
mhm,
bought it, and yeah, it seemed pretty a step up from like my old Mustang Sally on the back of the thing, back of the flatbed truck days. So I was like, cool. Uh, I didn't, I just kind of went through a couple of sounds. Again, I'm kind of just interested, one, to like have something to play on that's uh like I have like a mostly soundproof room here, but it's
mhm,
not like totally soundproof. And
yeah,
so but with electronic kit in a sound in this mostly soundproof room, I think I can get away with kind of making noise,
mm,
if anyone's trying to sleep or anything like that or whatever. So um and I'm kind of curious, like, to see how, yeah, for demoing, like, I have some mics too. I've been recording like in my little studio here too, but like also just like, is this an even easier way to just get an idea down quickly?
mhm,
And thirdly, again, like I said, like just kind of interested to mess around. Like, is there an opportunity to um, do something, some other kind of, it wouldn't be like rock, but like other some kind
mhm,
of music or project that would employ some different sounds. So
mhm,
that's
yeah,
that's what I'm thinking with them. But I'll let you know how it goes in a future episode. I will get them set up and
yeah.
let you know. But I have the Roland TD8,
Okay.
TD8, I think. Yeah.
So
So
probably one of the ones that would be
mid
on the
level
floor. Yeah, we would
might
be on
be
the
on the
floor at
floor.
Longwood. Yeah,
One of those ones we've been talking about.
yeah, because I
It's
know
mid
like
level.
there's um a fellow Los Cabos artist, Warren Beatty. He's the guy that got me into Los Cabos from the very beginning. He got a kit that's an Elysis Strike Pro special. I think that's what it's called. But it
Hmm.
looks more like a drum kit. Like there's a red sparkle wrap on it. The tom is
Yeah.
about 4 or 5 inches deep, so it looks like a drum. The cymbals are shaped like a cymbal. They have bells, so there's like different points of contact. You make the bell
Hmm.
sound, the washy sound, and the hi hat is on a stand, so he can do the open close thing. Um,
Does he live
but
close to you?
that's 3 hours away.
Oh, okay.
He's in St. John, so he's further south. He's from where my wife's neck of the woods, where she's from.
Hmm.
But yeah, so he's started to gig with it again. It's one of those kits that looks like a drum kit, so I wouldn't be turned away at the door. But
It wouldn't be until you got a little closer. You'd be like, wait a minute.
but it's worn, so I would stay. But
Right.
so so he's using that, and he uses that specifically for like a coffee house gig. So rather than, and here's the good thing about the electronic drum kits and why you would gig with it is if you're playing like a coffee house or a smaller venue, um, rather than playing on a cajon, you could actually play
Mm,
and control the volume so that it's not blaringly loud and still have, drum sounds with cymbals and, all that stuff. Um, so
yeah.
so to me that's a um good use of it versus because I've done cajon gigs. They're not fun. Um,
Mm,
you're squatted over a
yeah.
little box and you're making like two different sounds and it's like why even be there? You know?
It's like
I mean, really, because everybody
go
else
home gigs, really.
yeah,
Go home gigs, go home gigs.
go home gaze,
I
yeah.
call them.
But you could just stomp your foot and clap your hand. I mean, why you need the, anyway.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I played on those too. Um, the cajon kind of replaced the djembe.
Yeah,
Like before that, that would be like the thing. Like, okay, well, I don't know, bring your djembe. And I was like, all
yeah,
right.
your little
But
bongos.
now, yeah, then the cajon came.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't play it a lot, so I always kind of like I don't bruise my hand, but I'm like definitely to start to like
Yeah, your
because I can't
knuckles.
help but get into it,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, you know.
Boom, tap.
Yeah. Anyway,
You know,
all right, so we're just cruising along like on the time. I don't want to, be on a time crunch, but we're chatting a lot. This is
but we are on a
great.
time crunch,
But
so
we are. We don't want to
let's
go
get
too
to our
long.
next one.
Yeah. All right. So do you
Number
want
two
to
pick
do
for me,
okay.
Ilan Rubin. Uh, from well, he
The
played
disappearing,
with.
reappearing man?
Oh yeah, that's right. I did speak about him before, right?
You
On the
mentioned
Nine
him
Inch
once.
Nails
Yeah.
show. Yeah, my buddy James just like thought this was like the coolest performance he's ever seen. And I have to say, it's
Pretty
up there.
cool.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
every time the lights went out, he'd come back on, he'd be gone. And then they go out again, he'd be there. I don't know where he was going. Like a bunch of little breaks. Like, I don't know. But I mean, and it's just so intense, the music. And
Yeah.
anyway, that's with Nine Inch Nails.
Mm.
Uh, the New Regime, is the band that was the photo that I caught my eye when I was like looking around for like artists that use some pads. So he has like two little look like little pads over the toms, I guess. So like a couple of floor toms and like on that side of the kit, there's a couple. I'm pretty sure that was the setup.
Hmm.
Or was it the other? I'm pretty sure that was the setup. Yeah. So, but he's I mean, I'm not going to go too deep into his use of this because
Hmm.
I haven't seen a lot of it in action. Let's be honest. But just to speak about him for a moment, incredible
Yeah.
musician. Holy
He's nuts.
wow! Like just, I mean, you're the drummer for Nine Inch Nails. You're obviously got something going on, but
Yeah.
he's like equally a great guitar player
Yeah.
and
He's got a solo thing where he
singer
plays
as well.
everything on the
Yeah.
album.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like one of those, you know,
Yeah. And he's
like
definitely
do you
playing
know
a
Jay?
hybrid. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, full on. I was just gonna go off a tangent. Do you know Jacob Collier? Ever hear that guy?
That name
Another like
sounds
similar
familiar.
like um kind of style wise, nothing like Ilan Rubin,
Yeah.
but in like just like total virtuosity, kind of prodigy, like plays everything.
Yeah.
Kind of like I highly recommend checking him out.
Mm.
Just like very joyful guy, and kind of on the more jazzy like Quincy Jones. Um, I think like Quincy Jones is a mentor of his and stuff. Anyway, has
Okay.
nothing to do with I don't even know if he uses electronic drums, but what's your pick?
Um, I was just, before I get to my pick, I was just going to say for Elon, like playing with Angels and Airwaves, you know he's
Yeah.
definitely playing a hybrid kit because of all the um different triggers that he'd have to use for samples and all that because they have a whole show. I know that they're kind
Okay.
of on pause because Blink 182 is back and touring with Tom, but yeah, Angels and Airwaves, they definitely have a lot of atmospheric, you know, type of stuff that would be controlled from behind the kit because I mean they could have it all pre-programmed with the show and just everything runs on a machine, but um I think it's more he's controlling that from behind the kit, um, you know, with setting
Hmm.
up stuff like that. And you know, in the situation of a live show, and this kind of ties into my guy because this is what he does. And that's I'm just going to get to him is Josh Dunn from 21 Pilots, and that's how he uses the kit. He's you know he's one of those new breed drummer guys that has pads and triggers and all that stuff. He's got his brain and his laptop next to him, kind of thing, or his iPad. But what he's doing with that is he's controlling the light show. He's controlling all of the MIDI sounds directly. He's got foot pedals as well to cycle through different things that he's doing. And he's got his pad so he can cycle next song and play or pause different pieces. So if something's going on in the live show and they kind of want to let something breathe for a bit or there's interaction with the crowd, he can stop everything and then trigger it back, you know, rather than, like I said, just everything playing right through and you got to keep up or you're going to miss your signal, you know, kind of like what happened with with Tommy Lee where they thought he was lip syncing his drum parts because the song was starting on the timer and he didn't get to the kit in time. So the
Uh,
so the first hit of the drums came in because it was on that, you know, it played the first like 2 bars before it would fade off for him to play. So everybody thought he was, you know, miming his parts. But if you watch it, he's not. You can clearly see he's playing the drums. But
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
um, um, so but yeah, Josh has like he's got triggers on all his kit, but the triggers are there to gate the microphones so that nothing bleeds
Mm,
into each thing, which is kind of a cool thing, a neat way to use triggers.
mm,
You know, so that you don't get microphone bleed. So you know, you get the drum and then it gates the mic after a certain amount of time, just to you know
mm.
control overtones and stuff like that. I thought that was you know
Wow.
yeah yeah Josh Dunn 21 Pilots. You know, they got some pretty cool songs. They had a big song like 8 years ago for that Suicide Squad movie. Heathens was a big song. Um,
Cool.
I'm not too familiar with their stuff, but he's definitely one of those guys where you watch him and you're like, he's hitting everything from up here, like he's just so. And that's another reason why he has those gates on his kit because he's just
Ah,
yeah putting so much into it.
wow. Very cool. I gotta check that
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, cool. So that's pick number two.
Okay.
All right, so I don't know if you went all nerdy like I did, but I remember
Probably not.
this was a few years ago, and now they've since discontinued this product. But I remember Zildjian had come out with their Gen 16 series of cymbals. And what that was is it's those low volume cymbals that look like mesh, but it was a
Yeah.
cymbal and it was cast in bronze.
Mhm.
And it was paired with they had their own brain. So there was 5 channels to it. So you had hi-hat, a ride, and then you had 3 auxiliary cymbals that you could, you know, put a crash or a splash or whatever. So they had 2 microphones on the that you put on the stand when you put your cymbal on. So you could change like a drum kit, like where you can, you know, sample B or whatever, snare 2, and you know, it would change the drum sound. You could do
Mhm.
that with your hi-hat. Like you could go from a 13-inch hi-hat to a 15-inch hat to a dry hat, you know, same thing with the
Mhm.
ride. So it would control what the bell sounds were and all that. So that was probably 8 or 9 years ago. Um, but I can't find any more information on it because
Hmm.
it's been discontinued. I don't know if you'd ever
They went the
seen
way of
that
the
or
Pollard
yeah,
syndrome.
yeah. but yeah, so cymbals. So that, but I mean, that was kind of a neat idea because with the whole cymbal thing, it's like you're actually playing on a cymbal, you know. So if you married that with a good, you know, electronic drum sound, you could create some pretty neat stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where it went. I
Huh.
don't know why they discontinued it. I mean, you know, I guess the market isn't that in demand for it. I'm
Suppose
drinking
not.
my
Maybe it'll come back.
I'm drinking my BCAs. I did a workout before the podcast, so I'm trying to,
Nice. No big deal. Did a
you
little
know,
workout before the
I
podcast.
gotta lose some of that. I
The
can't
win
call it COVID weight anymore because yeah, it's winter weight. Yeah, exactly.
winter weight. Hibernation.
I
Coming out
gotta
of
get rid of
hibernation and
these
getting it.
cheeks. You know, gotta thin that
I
out.
had a I had a rip to the I had two trips to the same physio clinic today. I had a sound like a spoiled brat here, but I had a massage in the morning. Incredible. And then I had a physio appointment in the afternoon for a knee, a bung knee.
I thought
A
I was the
bum
old
knee?
man.
A
A
bum
bummed.
knee or a
A,
bummed?
I think it's a
A
bum knee.
bad knee.
A bad knee.
A sore knee. My knee got a bit puffed up and anyways, it's this we're pretty much good to
Yeah.
go now.
But I mean,
We're
yes, I mean you're getting ready to go on tour, so obviously
yeah.
you want to be in tip-top shape to be able to, you know, play
Yeah,
those rockin'
I love
new songs that
that's right.
everyone's gonna get to hear.
That's it. And
How
I
much of the
want
new
to I want
album
to
are
be
you playing?
loose. Uh well, I think probably just
Just the single?
one yeah, just the
Just the new single?
in the summer as more stuff comes out, I'm sure we'll play more stuff, but
Hmm.
for now, keeping it under wraps. But I dare say you haven't even heard the best song yet. We've put out one, it's a good one, but the best ones might be coming yet. It might even be better.
I guarantee it. But it's a banger of a new song. Um, all right, so you want to get to pick number three already? Let's do it.
Yeah, I do, and I switched mine up,
Oh, okay. Well,
but
then you
it's
got to go
still I know who
first.
you have, so
Hmm.
it's
So
all
who
right.
do you want to go? Do you want me to go or do you want to go?
You go.
Me go?
You go.
Okay.
Yeah, you do it.
All right. So this guy's been around for a while, and the whole he used to play an acoustic kit back in the day, um, but he kind of had a bit of an accident back in the early mid '80s that caused him to lose an arm. That's Rick Allen from Def Leppard. Um,
Mhm.
Probably the most innovative use of electronics into a kit, and I mean back then, like late '80s, mid '80s, it wasn't what it is now. But apparently, the story goes, if I'm remembering correctly from a documentary or whatever I watched a while ago, is he was in the hospital and had MTV on or whatever, and he was tapping his feet along. That kind of gave him the idea for it. But he was like going to call it quits completely. Um, but you know, the band and the support, and then the idea of playing with his left foot, and then everybody knows who he is now. You know, he's got like five pedals on his left side or whatever that controls different drum sounds. He's Rick Allen. I mean, he's probably the most recognizable drummer that uses electronics in rock and roll. And I mean, that
And
whole Hysteria album, like it's all done that way. It's cool
let me
stuff.
say, he's also got one of the coolest nicknames any drummers ever had. Do you know what it is?
No,
The Thunder God.
serious.
Yeah.
That is a cool nickname.
Yeah. Can you imagine if that was your nickname? Like,
Good.
I'd be into it.
Yeah. But anyway, Rick Allen, Def Leppard,
If anyone's
everybody.
listening,
Yeah.
wants to
Yeah.
come up with a
Yeah.
cool nickname for me.
All right. So, I mean, that's all
Okay.
I had on him.
Rick Allen. I mean, that's great. That's a great pick.
It's a
Great
good
pick.
pick, but yeah, everybody knows enough about him. I don't need to get into detail about it.
Well, I pivoted. I had another pick, but he's
Oh,
so good. He'll go to another. He'll be in another one.
right.
No doubt he'll be in another episode as a pick. This drummer is a fellow Los Cabos Drumsticks endorsee.
Hello.
Plays. We spoke about him. Plays with one of the biggest artists in Canada, internationally.
Okay, I
And
know who this.
I had the opportunity to meet him one time.
Did you?
When Danko, I was playing, we were playing down in LA. And he came with a guitar player, hanging out with a guitar player named Ricky Tilo, who is a guitar player that was playing with I want to say Katy Perry, and I could be wrong, but I think it was playing with Katy Perry. But
Name
like
dropping.
friend, I don't know these guys. This is not like these are my good buds. They're not my good buds. But he knew Danko. uh, so uh, what's cool about that is that then later they were like going to like a party at Usher's house. Like, you want to come to a party at Usher's? We're like, no, we can't go to Usher's house. But that would have been cool. But so I just assume that's the kind of stuff that happens if you live in Los Angeles. Like you just end up
Probably. Yep.
at Usher's house and stuff like that. But no, but the drummer's name is Mike Sleeth.
Hmm.
Plays Shawn Mendes. He's the longtime drummer
Hmm.
and musical director, I believe. Is he a
I would
musical
say
director?
that that'd be his role, yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
And and if not,
'Cause
I'm
I know he
sorry.
works very
But
close with Sean. Like
yeah.
they're kind of like a,
But that
yeah.
but yeah, I know like on a gig like that, uh like we were saying that there's a lot of pressure because as the drummer you are the conductor, and when a show is that big and that slick and that that many things going on, yeah, you are also often
Hmm.
uh I just have to count the dang thing in. If I as long as I count them in, we're good. But like I think Mike has got to count Big's. He's got some pads on the side. I'm sure he's tapping some other stuff too. So
Yeah.
uh shout out to Mike Sleeth. If you're listening, or if
Yeah,
anyone knows him, we'd love to chat with you on this podcast,
for
especially as a
sure.
fellow
Los
stick
Cabos
man
and
of the
Dorsey.
Los
He's been
Cabos.
playing them for a number of years now.
Yeah, and if you go
Yeah.
on the site, it's Mike's photo. Anybody that's listening, you go on the site, and for the Canadian artists, you're going to see Mike there,
Yeah.
killing it. So yeah, picked him. And yeah, I'm just thinking about how cool it would have been to go to Usher's house now. But anyway, missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity. Those late night
But you know what? Like, what
hangs.
would I have done? I would have gone there and like just felt like an idiot and just like I don't know. Sometimes saying yes to stuff is like, what am
Yeah,
I
why
doing
am I
here?
here? What
Anyway,
am I doing here?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you never know. But I mean,
yeah, maybe I would have had a great time. Maybe
maybe.
I would have had a great time.
Who else would have been there? You could have met some other cool
Who
cats. I
knows?
mean, it's I
Who
mean,
knows?
Usher's house, right? Who else is going to be there?
Well, if
You know,
Usher's having a party, I'm sure
Rick
there's probably some pretty
Rubin or,
cool people could be there. You never
yeah,
know who could be there, man. Anyway, yeah. So
Jay-Z, Beyonce. Yeah, who knows?
maybe I don't know.
I mean,
Usher's
in
cool,
LA,
man.
well, I mean, it's LA, so
Anybody could
probably not.
show up because he's you know. Anyway, uh, we'll say electronic kits or electronics on the kit. You
Yeah,
know,
they have a purpose. There's definitely a use for them. Um,
as far as the opinion of a couple of punk rock drummers go, here you get it. You know,
yeah. Well, okay. If we're gonna go punk drummers, why his name is escaping me now, but the drummer for Turnstile, he also has like an electronic
oh,
pad. Um, yeah, it's bugging me now. I can't think of his
they're
name.
so cool, man. I don't know
They
his
are
name, but they're
such a
cool.
good band. But yeah, he has some I don't know what you want to call them, like triggers and samples that he plays, that leads in from song to song.
Yeah,
Those are just
that's
cool. And
cool.
he has two cowbells.
You're
You
kidding
need to
me.
up your cowbell game.
I do need up. You can't do that to me.
You're the
So did Brad
cowbell
Wilk, though.
guy.
And that's
Yeah.
my thing.
That's going to be another
Well,
topic is cowbells. We definitely have to have
I
an
could do an
episode
episode.
just on cowbells.
on cowbells. Okay, I used to play with a fella here, and he said something to me one time, and it made sense to me. Name me a bad song that has cowbell in it. Can you do it? Now, I'm sure if you racked your brain for a day, but like, come on, most songs that you hear, it's like that's got the cowbell in it. You're like, okay, this is pretty good.
Yeah, because I'm thinking Mississippi Queen. Um, what's that Nazareth song? Hair of the Dog, right? They got cowbell in them,
Uh,
right?
yeah.
Guns N' Roses, that Appetite for Destruction album, it's cowbell all over it.
Uh, the song Lowrider, that's got cowbell in it, right?
Lowrider, yeah. I mean, that's a classic. I mean, that's the intro to the song. It's cowbell.
I mean, come on, cowbell, man. Like, yeah, you get that cowbell rocking.
I tell you, a good song with cowbell in it. I don't know if you've heard it. It's My Little R&R. It's off an album called
Oh,
Wildcat. It's pretty good.
nice. Thanks for that,
Zing.
man.
Yeah, no, but
Thanks for that.
seriously
Anybody
though,
listening, that's a song I play on.
yeah, but seriously, that's probably one of the coolest cowbell patterns that I've heard. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass because you're on
Oh
the
wow.
we do this podcast together. But no, it's a cool riff. It's one of those riff songs. Like when you talk about drum riffs, like we were talking about like
Yeah.
how Dave Grohl and Josh they come up with drum riffs. That's a total drum riff with that cowbell.
Oh, right on, man.
Yeah,
Cool, man.
a little love there. All right, but yeah, we'll have to do
No,
a
I
cowbell
appreciate that.
episode for sure.
Yeah, I should. We totally got it.
Yeah. Or drummers
I
that
don't know.
use
We'll try to.
cowbell. That'll be another drummer pick.
Oh, there
You'll
you go.
you'll have to exclude yourself from the list though.
I'll obviously exclude myself.
You can't be all three picks.
I
I
did it
said
on
all
this
three.
song, and this song. I did it on this song. He's played on this song.
I did all three picks, and I did this. All three picks. Yeah, that's how I count to three. 7 years. Remember that from Ace Ventura?
No, but I do
7
love
years
that
I
movie.
trained dolphins. Yeah.
Do you nosy dolphin? I
Yeah.
I feel like I've made up my own words to what happens in that spot, but that was like one of my go-to impressions
Oh yeah.
is that dolphin trainer.
So good.
Yeah,
So good.
very good
When he
stuff.
turns into Captain Kirk and he's in the camera and he's all like, "Mm."
Oh yeah, I mean Jim Carrey was on fire.
Oh
Like there
yeah.
was like that a few years there that was just
Yeah.
woo.
Ace Ventura,
The
Liar
Mask.
Liar, The Mask, yeah, all that stuff. Yeah. He's definitely an interesting guy now. He's not the same Jim. I mean, he's the same guy, but he's definitely got a different worldview. But anyway, well,
Yeah,
that's
some
neither here nor there.
somebody stopped him. I guess.
Somebody did, yeah.
Yeah.
He plays Lost Cabos
Anyway,
drumsticks. No, just kidding.
dude, if we could get Jim Carrey, oh,
Yeah, it'd be sweet.
let's go.
That's an hey man, we're coming up with ideas on the fly here. People are gonna, you know, actors that are drummers or
Mm,
people that are, other professions that are drummers. I've got like three off the top of my head right now that I don't want to say because I'll save it.
Uncle Jesse. Okay, I won't say it. But that's like
He was
that's
not
like one
on
of
the
the
list.
ones. That's like one, it's like I've seen that
Yeah,
online. Like
yeah,
people you didn't know played.
yeah.
Oh, I got a couple too, man. Oof. I
Right?
don't want to
Just
say them not.
yeah,
We
yeah.
gonna ruin
We'll
that
have to save
episode.
it. I think we need to cut this off because we're gonna
We gotta
spoil
cut this
future
off.
episodes. All
Yeah.
right. So yeah, that was electronic drum kits.
Big
Actually,
fans. Dre's a big fan of electronic drum kits.
sure am.
I just got one. I'll let you know if I am soon.
Sweet.
If anybody has any questions or concerns, they can write us at where can they
LCD
write us?
lcdquarternotes at gmail.com.
At
That's an
LCD
email you
quarter
can
notes.
send.
Yeah.
Or you can send us a DM
Yeah.
on
Get us
the
on the DMs.
Instagrams. He has one.
Yeah. Mine is Rich Knox Drums. And yours is
Dre
give it to us.
underscore SGS.
Underscore SGS.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So
been a pleasure.
follow, like, tag, all that stuff. Yeah. Quarter notes. This
Yeah.
was the ninth episode, and
This was the yeah,
we'll be back with some guests because we got some guests lined up, people. They're gonna start
yeah,
coming in
they're
hot.
coming. They're lining up.
Yeah. So yeah, good luck on tour. I'll be talking to you before you leave, but have a great tour. Speaking of, I mean, you're by this point that this comes out, you'll already be on tour. But just kind of run through a little bit of where you're going to be.
Well, we're going to Norway. We're doing some stuff there, and then we go to Spain. So we're going to be kind of in a few different spots in the beautiful country of Spain.
Mm,
We've got in well, let me just pull it up here, but we're going to be in Bilbao. We're going to be in uh I think also, oh, it's just so annoying. Uh Barcelona,
nice.
Valencia, Madrid. So just the four shows there. And yeah, it's gonna be a lovely time. Just great to get back together with the guys, make some music, hang out, catch up,
Yep.
and then
Eat
we'll come
eat
home for
some
a couple
chips.
weeks. Probably there could be some chips on the go. Yeah, I mean, we'll actually in we'll have some patatas bravas, brave potatoes in Spain.
Never
That's what we'll be
never heard
having
of
there.
that.
It's like a potato, and it's got some kind of secret sauce on it. Kind of spicy, kind of not. I don't know. Patatas bravas.
I'm gonna have to look that up. We love international cuisines. That's
Oh,
usually when we travel, that's like our first thing is setting up, okay, what are the cuisines? Where are we going? We got to
mhm.
try, the local stuff or the stuff that's, for that area. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No, the guys love it. I even the East Coaster, I hate seafood, most seafoods, which is really
mm.
unfortunate, but I just do. Those guys love it. And so when we go to Spain, lots of great seafood in Spain. And I'm always just like, I hate touring this country for food.
Give me a
But
burger.
even though it's like kind of like a lot of people's like favorite country for food. So anyway, whatever.
Yeah. Is that where Spain? Is that where tapas? No, I think it's Italy. Tapas? Is that one? Where's that from?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's Spain?
Tapas. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
that would be Spain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to try some of that.
So yeah,
Which is
like a patatas bravas could be a tapas. It could
okay.
be a
Which, if I'm not like a tapas, is like just like small little portions of
yeah.
different
I think it's
things.
like yeah, it's kind of like it's like little apps or
The
something that
lab.
come
Yeah.
out like little yeah, little appetizers for if I had to anglify what they are.
Yeah.
That's yeah, they're just like small portions. Yeah,
North Americanized.
shareables often
Yeah.
shareable and
Cool.
yeah,
All right. Cool.
tasty.
Well,
Have a little ooh, yeah. Okay, that's it.
that's it. Done. Episode's over. Okay. Cool. Anyway,
See you later.
thanks. Have fun, guys.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye.